So today, I'm going to go over some drum hacks. Today we're going to go over some drum hacks that I have learned over the years from touring and playing for the last 37 years. Things that are a little bit cost effective. You can buy at pretty much any hardware store, and may not look the best on some things, but they're fucking cheap and they work. So here we go. First on my list, memory locks. Every kit you've ever bought, you've got a bunch of these all around the kit. This is a Yamaha memory lock. Hopefully that zooms in. You know, they're great. They serve a phenomenal purpose until you strip one out and you lose them. So what do? Well, what my friend Ricky Ross taught me years and years ago while on tour with my punk band, he brought about 20 of these on tour. Pipe clamps. You can get all different sizes. I don't know, these things are dirt cheap and they work. Not the most beautiful looking thing, but chances are if I'm going to find a Yamaha memory lock somewhere in the middle of a tour and in the middle of nowhere, probably not going to happen. If I've got a pile of pipe clamps, they're going to stay on there forever. It's just a quick, really easy way to do it. And, you can't see them anyway. You step 3 feet away from the kit and you can't even tell what it is. Tuning tip. This is an old one. A lot of people use it, but it works. Is if you've got especially on floor toms, I've noticed, a really basketball-y sounding floor tom, you just cannot get that kang sound out of it no matter how you tune it. Stick 3 or 4 cotton balls in there. What I do is I shred them up to kind of, so they're not like balls bouncing around in there. Like just shred it up so it's like fibers of cotton. Drop it down in the head, and as you hit it, it bounces up and kind of floats in the air and then gently rests back on the reso head and just kills that basketball sound. Great tip there. I don't really like to use a lot of moon gels and things like that and dampening on my toms anyway. I kind of like to have them wide open. I buy specific heads to get a certain sound, and I don't want to alter that with a bunch of dampening and a bunch of tape and moon gels and all that crap. A couple things that I do use for dampening. I've bought the moon gels. I bought some heads, and Evans sent me a bunch of these little red gels, which are great. I mean, they really work well. But the way that I play, the way that I hit, even though they're sticky, they don't stay on the drum, especially on my snare drum. They fly right off after 3 or 4 hits. Then they get on the ground, and you get sawdust all over it, and they get sticky, and you can wash them off, but it's just going to fall right back off again. So it's more frustration for me than it's worth. So what do I use? I use this stuff right here. It's foam window seal. It's little foam strip. This is pretty narrow, more narrow than I normally get, but you can see how it's just little strips of foam. It's really dense foam. I'll cut off little pieces, like 1-inch pieces, as you can see right here, and I will put them all around my snare drum. And you can add or take away. It doesn't provide a ton of dampening, but it's just enough to kill the overtones in the snare that you don't want and that ring that you don't want, and still get the drum out of it. You're not totally choking the drum down like those whatever the stuff is. The effect is a lot more minimal than using moon gels. I mean, I've seen people cut up moon gels. They've got little pieces everywhere. I can't be bothered with it. So this stuff is dirt cheap. This was $5, and this will last me probably 2 years, maybe more. The current roll I'm on, I've got about that much left. I think I've had that thing going for 3 years. So that is a great tip. You literally get it at any hardware store. Make sure you don't get the really open pore stuff. Make sure you get the really dense foam stuff. The stuff that's a little bit less dense, it breaks apart. So this stuff stays on there. And I'll mash it down with my stick and kind of like a rolling pin, and get it on there after I do a head change, and I'll let it sit for a little while and kind of let it stick, and hopefully it'll stay on. The other part I always struggle with is I'll change heads, snare head, tom heads, whatever it is, and you always have one or two lugs that will just not stay in tune. Just come loose, and after a while, you've got this one lug or several lugs that just will not hold the tension. So someone suggested a long time ago that if you put a piece of fishing wire in there, fishing line in there, like thin gauge fishing line, and put the tension rod in there, that will do the trick, which that works, but it's a complete pain in the ass. Because as soon as you change heads, if you're out of fishing line or whatever it may be, and you take that out, fishing line's gone. And sometimes it just gets crushed in there, and you know, as you kind of tension it, it breaks apart. I used it for a little while. It worked for a little while until it didn't, and I stopped using it. So what do I use instead, which I have been using for years, and it is a game changer? Blue Threadlock. This stuff is phenomenal. I mean, you can put it in there. It's not the permanent Threadlock stuff. The blue is the movable head Threadlock. This stuff works. You're still going to get some that kind of back out. It's inevitable. But yes, this stuff is a game changer. I would definitely buy that. Last but not least, at least for this video, is you all buy new drum heads. We all buy drum heads. Whatever brand you use. I don't know what other brands have, what other brands offer. I play Evans. I'm not endorsed by Evans. I wish I was, or endorsed Evans, I should say. I don't endorse Evans. I'm not active enough, and that's the reason, because I'm not an active enough drummer. You actually have to be good as well, so I'll work on that part. But you buy your drum head, nice little box here. You know, you open it up, and you take the head out, and you change the head, and you just chuck the box, right? No. You open it, and you're going to see this black lettering here. This right here. Okay? That. Keep this. Okay? This right here. That code. That's the rewards code. Okay? So what you do is you sign up for the rewards and you put the code in there and it gives you points towards free drum heads. I fill up the rewards fast. I don't buy a ton of drum heads. I don't go through them, but it's a really good program. They give you a lot of points, and I get probably 4 or 5 free drum heads a year, maybe. Do it. I mean, my God, it is worth it. I can't believe that people just throw these things away and have no idea. It's called Players Circle. See, right there, Players Circle, rewards. Enter that code in there. I will come into the studio. First thing I'll do, I'll flip on the lights and I go through the 2 recycle bins and the trash can. Not like digging, like throwing trash everywhere, but I'll go in there and I will search for Evans drum head boxes. And I am shocked at how many that I have found. And I take a picture of the code and I go home and it's still an unused code. If you're not going to use the code, then fuck, I will. I mean, that's just dumb. So, yeah, I mean, makes no sense, right? So use the codes. Use all my little cheat methods here and see how they work for you. You got the memory locks versus pipe clamps. Pipe clamps win for me. Cheap, they stay there. That's been on there for 25 years, maybe 27 years, has not moved, okay? They don't break. You never lose them. They don't strip out. It is there until I take it off. Cotton balls in your floor tom. Some people do it in the rack toms as well. I've even put them on my snare drum before. They work great. It's really, really, really super cheap. You could buy a bag of like 100 cotton balls for like $3, and it'll last you years, literally. You can use the same one every time. It'll last you even more than that. Foam window seal for your snare drum instead of moon gels. Moon gels fall off, get crusty. They don't stay on. They're a pain in the ass. Take them off. Blue Loctite or Threadlocker. That's the magic one right there. And the rewards program. Do it. All of it. See ya. friends and lovers. Yeah, that's about